Hey, Viola Rules here, and welcome back to Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony. So currently we're talking about the way that the sign was carried after Miyu knocked it into the water. Of course, I thought that it went with the river's current, not against it in the last minigame. Technically I'm correct, but the characters in the game don't know that yet.
We all saw Miyu drop the sign and watched the river carry it downstream.
Yeah.
And the river was wide there. The sign should have traveled downriver toward the chapel, correct?
Yes.
It should have hit the wall on the far side of the chapel and stopped there.
But objects can go through it.
But that's not where we found it. We found it near the mansion, nestled in some rocks.
The signboard should have been near the chapel, but we found it on the other side.
Right.
Hold up. Didn't you stay on the chapel side?
Yes.
She probably grabbed the signboard from the chapel wall to cross the river.
How?
Then left it on the boulders near the mansion so she could get back.
Why would she leave the signboard where it could get swept away and leave her stranded?
Also, this has nothing to do with walking through the wall, right? We're getting off topic.
Slightly, yes.
We're so close to the truth. We just have to connect the how and what. All the mysterious things that happened have to connect with each other somehow.
Connect how?
A wall only objects can pass through. Sounds that shouldn't be heard. A signboard going against the river current. How are they all connected?
I don't know, but Shuichi should know, right?
I guess I should by this point.
What?
Depends on the question you ask me.
We would be in a lot of trouble if you didn't. The only one who can solve this mystery and save us all is you.
I get the feeling Kokichi is doing this to mess with Kaido specifically.
So, how are they connected? Do you know Shuichi?
Well, what we know so far is that the unnatural way the sign was carried is possibly related to the wall.
Not entirely sure what to select. This? I don't know.
This is it!
Okay, good. I'm right. Whew.
It might have to do with a wall that only objects can pass through. The sign should have stopped at the wall on the other side of the chapel. But if that wall happened to be the one that Miyu set to allow objects through...
Which it was.
I see. It's a wall only non-humans can pass through.
Yep, so it went
That
through and
means
popped
the
around through the
signboard
other
can pass
side.
through the wall, right?
Right.
Even if it could pass through the chapel wall, how did it end up by the mansion?
The only way it could do that is if the wall was a warp zone. But it's not, right?
No. That's right, that's the real issue here. How could the signboard pass through the wall but end up on the mansion side? What would explain that?
Leave it to me, Shuichi. I, your partner, will give you hints in times of trouble.
What if I don't want your hints, Kokichi? What?
This is the virtual world. We should throw away all of our common sense, okay?
Okay.
The hell does that even mean?
Just roll with it for now, let him make his point. Kokichi might be onto something there. We need to forget about what we know and just think about it. How did the signboard pass through the wall downstream and end up upstream? Putting common sense aside and focusing on the flow of the river. How did the signboard pass through the wall downstream and end up upstream? The downstream and upstream connect.
That's it! What if
Finally,
both
we've
ends of the
gotten to
river
this
were
point.
connected?
Huh? Both ends of river connected?
Exactly. To put it another way, the river isn't cut off at the wall near the chapel. It's all part of one big loop. The upstream part of the
Finally.
river is connected to it.
What? What are you talking about? Both ends of the river can't...
Again, throw out all common sense from your head. We're talking about the virtual world.
Where anything can happen.
Then what about the wall? There was only one wall that could be passed through.
Right. Even if the river's connected and it goes through the chapel wall, it wouldn't have been able to go through the mansion wall too.
That's an interesting point, but... we are correct, though. It is a giant loop. Wait, in that case...
I got it! I know why Mew only set up one wall.
What are you talking about now?
The reason she only set up one wall is because the chapel and mansion walls... One wall's already in place. They're the same wall. They're exact duplicates. They're the same... They're the same wall, maybe? Or they're exact duplicates. It's one of those two. I don't know which one.
That's it!
Okay, that was the right one.
The walls by the chapel and the mansion aren't separate. They're the same wall.
The same wall?
It's not just the river. The walls themselves are connected.
Oh.
Don't think of it as two separate walls, but a single wall parallel to the y-axis. That single wall divides the entire virtual world. The idea is, you pass through the wall by the chapel and come out by the mansion.
Okay, that's interesting.
Everything is starting to connect.
I didn't think that's the way that it worked, but it makes sense.
See, didn't I tell you? Everything is connected.
Damn it, Kokichi! Just tell us!
It's okay. More importantly, this is the final stretch!
Oh, it is?
If both the river and wall are connected, then you can find the secret. Shuichi, you already know the secret behind the virtual world, right?
Ah. The secret, huh? Yes, I suppose we should clear that up. We need to solve the mystery of the virtual world. Are we about to do a Hangman's Gambit? Yep, Hangman's Gambit. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Well, I know it's the loop, so... Oh, God. I get it now. You need a W. There's one. R. L. D. Need an S. Oh, no, I don't. L. I need 2 O's now. Come on. There's one. Saw a P somewhere. There it is. Here we are.
I see now.
The world loops, which is what I've been waiting for them to figure
Yes,
out.
that's it. The virtual world is a loop.
Loop?
Just like in old games, right? Like, for example... a character goes off the left side of the screen and reappears on the right.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. The edges of the virtual world are linked together in a continuous loop.
The virtual world loops?
What in the world?
If that's true, it would explain the way the signboard was swept away. It vanished into the wall downstream of the river, came out of that same wall upstream,
And then got stuck.
and floated with the current until it got caught on the rocks.
What was the world like before Mew added the wall?
Actually, there wasn't a wall on the y-axis at all, and the x-axis was set to loop.
Are you serious?
Oh.
Even if it is a computer
Which is a
program,
reference
isn't that
to
too
the
crazy?
second game, because you could walk the map endlessly in a loop in it. You just kept walking in the same direction.
A looping world. That's more extraordinary than even magic.
But at least it's not a boring answer. It also explains all the things that happened.
Huh? It doesn't explain everything, does it?
What's puzzling you?
Because we still don't know why we heard that one sound or Kibo's voice.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
sound
go over
doesn't
this,
go
I
past
guess.
the map loading point.
Really, you guys?
Actually, if we know that the world is a loop, we can explain that as well.
Huh? Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Really.
But first we need to be clear where the loop starts.
Where the loop starts. Doesn't it loop at the walls next to the mansion and chapel?
Not necessarily. If we heard a noise at the chapel from inside the mansion, then the loop...
Oh, wow. It didn't even occur to me that that was a possibility. It loops at the transition point.
There! The map loading point was where the virtual world looped.
Oh, that makes sense.
We thought the loading point was in the middle of the map. But the loading point was actually at the edges.
So the wall Mew created wasn't at the edges of the world, but rather... her wall was at the center of the world.
I see. So the mansion and chapel were near each other, with a
I
wall
noticed that
between them.
before, because I pointed that out when they were talking about the map clue, but it didn't even occur to me that the map loading point was the halfway point.
Any sounds emitted near the chapel would also reach the mansion.
Like, this is what I figured, that the buildings were next to each other, but
The
this
wall
is not the
only allows
configuration I
non-humans
thought
to pass
of
through,
exactly.
so
for
sound
some
should be
reason.
able to pass through easily.
That's right. That's how the virtual world works.
Wow. That's cool. I like that.
Impressive, Shuichi!
Thanks.
For you to get this far! Yes! Yes! You are useful indeed!
Can you keep it down, please?
For you to get this far, what are you, some villain pulling the strings?
He is the ultimate supreme villain leader, whatever his title
Nope.
is.
Mew pulled the strings here, not me. Remember? Mew also set this trap. It all began when Mew showed us the map. Because of the map, we mistakenly thought the loading point was at the center. Which in turn made the mansion and chapel seem farther away from each other.
But the structure of the world wasn't actually like that.
No.
There was a wall along the y-axis, and the x-axis came around in a loop.
By putting that wall in the center of that world, she cut off the loop.
And I just realized something. The mansion looks a lot like the restaurant in the second game, if you were looking at it from a bird's eye view. Which, yeah, makes sense of why the chapel reminded me of the old abandoned building that was in the second game where Nagito set up his trap.
So ever since Miu showed us that map, we were caught in her trap. But we solved this mystery thanks to Shuichi. All hail our savior!
Thank you.
Yeah, if Shuichi wasn't here, then we never would have solved this mystery.
That's right. Good work, Shuichi.
Thanks, Shuichi. You saved us.
You're welcome.
Kaido's feeling very insignificant right now.
Just because we found out the virtual world's secret doesn't mean we can take it easy yet.
Yeah, we haven't unraveled everything yet.
Actually, this culprit hunt just got to the exciting part. Even if we know all the tricks, it's pretty meaningless if we don't find the culprit.
True.
That's how a class trial works, after all!
Kokichi talking like Monokuma again.
Yeah.
No matter what
He's
you
been doing
say,
this
I'm
the
not
whole
gonna
entire
believe your
time. Why are
lies.
you guys just now noticing that?
I'm gonna believe in everyone. That's how I'm gonna reach the truth.
Well, belief can only take you so far, Kaido.
I can't wait to see what happens next!
Me too, and we'll find out what happens next in the next part. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like. Also be sure to like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter, as well as support my Patreon and check out my reaction channel. All those links will be in the description below. And subscribe for more, and if you are subscribed or a new subscriber right now, be sure to hit that bell icon so you get notified when I upload videos. This is Viola Rules, signing off. Talk to you later.